In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, alien leaders from every corner of the galaxy sit assembled, their silhouettes casting long shadows across the dimly lit room. The atmosphere is tense, an unfamiliar sense of dread creeping into minds more accustomed to power and control. Alien diplomats, soldiers, and strategists, each of them representing the strongest factions in the galaxy, gather around the holographic display, watching an intricate map of stars and systems. These leaders have faced countless threats before, but the reason for today's meeting feels different. The word circulating among them is almost too strange to take seriously, yet impossible to ignore. The source of the disturbance? Humanity. The species is new to the galactic stage, small in numbers, and should, by all accounts, have submitted already. Yet here they are, sitting defiant and unfazed by the Council's authority. A seasoned diplomat, known for negotiating peace and subjugation alike, stands up and addresses the Council with an uncharacteristic look of unease. Esteemed delegates, we have encountered many species across the galaxies, and in nearly every case, we have established order through negotiation or, when required, force. His voice trembles slightly. Yet these humans, they are a different breed. They have not responded to any of our standard approaches. Promises of wealth, knowledge, and even threats of annihilation have fallen on deaf ears. The Council stirs as he continues. Our envoys report that humans responded to our overtures with a simple, resolute statement: "We do not negotiate with tyrants." The words echo through the hall, and the Council members fall into a stunned silence. No species has ever dared to speak to the Council in such a way. Murmurs break out almost immediately. Some aliens are visibly unsettled, while others wear expressions of disbelief. A large, intimidating figure stands up, his voice booming across the chamber. "This is preposterous! Who are these creatures to deny the Galactic Council?" Another council member, whose race is known for wisdom and patience, interjects with caution, suggesting that humanity's apparent audacity may be rooted in something they have yet to understand. But the room is abuzz with differing opinions. Some demand immediate action, a show of force to demonstrate the Council's dominance, while others advocate for restraint. After all, a species that so readily defies the Council might possess hidden strengths. The room quiets as the Council chair, an elder whose wisdom has guided the Council through centuries, raises a hand. His calm yet authoritative presence settles the room, commanding their attention. He gazes around slowly, taking in the uncertainty etched on each face before speaking. "Let us not rush into rash decisions. We face a unique situation. Never has a species resisted in this manner without a clear reason. We must understand these humans before we act. Knowledge is the true foundation of power. If we know what motivates them, we can exploit it to our advantage." He pauses, his gaze fixed on the map of Earth and its surrounding colonies. "I propose we begin a thorough investigation. We need to know who these humans are, their values, their strengths, and most importantly, their weaknesses. Only then can we determine our next step." A murmur of agreement ripples through the Council. Each member realizes that despite their usual strategies, they are out of their depth. This species, with its unpredictable defiance, has introduced an element of uncertainty. Unlike the many species who cower and comply, humanity has chosen resistance. As the session draws to a close, the Council agrees on a plan. They will learn everything about humanity, their history, their philosophies, their deepest fears. Each member disperses, some with a renewed sense of purpose, others with a shadow of dread hanging over them. After the meeting, groups of alien strategists gather in private rooms to begin their analysis. They study humanity's wars, its cycles of progress and destruction, its strange willingness to endure hardship for ideals and principles. They examine human history, noting instances where humans have fought to the bitter end rather than surrender to perceived tyranny. The Council's scholars uncover records of human rebellion after rebellion, entire wars fought on nothing more than the principle of freedom. To the Council members, it's baffling, almost nonsensical. They don't understand how a species can value something intangible over survival, yet here it is, repeated throughout human history. But one particular detail captures their attention and disturbs them more than any act of defiance: humanity's unwavering stance against tyrants. The human's history is rife with stories of individuals and groups who have resisted oppression, often at great cost. The Council's analysts present case after case where humans have refused to negotiate with those they consider unjust, even if it meant certain death. It becomes clear that this defiance is not a strategic maneuver, it's a fundamental part of who they are. As more information surfaces, the Council realizes they may have grossly underestimated humanity. Meanwhile, whispers of humanity's military capabilities begin to surface. Some factions report rumors of weaponry and technology that are supposedly advanced enough to rival even the Council's own defenses. At first, the Council dismisses these as exaggerations, products of overactive imaginations or fear-mongering. But as more reports emerge, they start to worry that humanity has been preparing for potential conflict for some time. The realization dawns that humanity's defiance might not just be ideological but backed by real power. A council member suggests attempting one last outreach, but this time, with a sterner approach. They draft a message laced with implied threats, making it clear that failure to submit will result in dire consequences for humanity. The response comes swiftly. "If you come for us, you'll regret it." The council is left speechless. This response is not filled with the usual pleas or attempts to bargain, nor is there any sign of fear. The words are a simple warning, delivered with a certainty that rattles the council to its core. Back in the chamber, the council members are visibly shaken. A sense of panic begins to take root, an emotion they have rarely encountered in their long tenure. This isn't just a refusal, it's a rejection of the council's authority itself. The chair, usually composed, furrows his brow. He looks at his advisors, his voice low yet intense. "We are dealing with a species that doesn't respond to fear. This is unprecedented." They realize that their normal methods will not work here. Humanity is not intimidated by their threats, nor enticed by their offers. They are confronted with a species that neither fears nor respects their power, and for the first time, they wonder if they have finally met an adversary that can challenge them. Determined to regain control, the Council makes a decision. They will gather their most formidable fleet and send it to the edge of human-controlled space. This show of force, they reason, should be enough to bring humanity to heel. As the session concludes, the Council members depart with an air of grim determination, knowing that the next confrontation could reshape the future of the galaxy. The thought lingers in their minds: could humanity, this small, seemingly insignificant species, really be as formidable as they've claimed? They intend to find out, one way or another. In a secure conference room, a small group of alien analysts, historians, and strategists gather, ready to present their findings on humanity to the Council members. The Council sits silently, their faces reflecting a blend of curiosity, disbelief, and an underlying apprehension. The first analyst begins by offering a glimpse into humanity's history, a history defined not by submission or compromise but by fierce independence and resilience. Clips play on the holographic screen, showing humanity's wars, rebellions, and revolutions. From ancient conflicts to modern battles, the Council sees a pattern emerging. Humans are relentless when defending what they believe in. It becomes evident that, time and again, they've sacrificed everything: homes, lives, entire cities, all for the sake of principles they hold sacred. The Council members exchange uneasy glances. One strategist speaks up, noting humanity's uncanny capacity for self-sacrifice. He explains that humans don't just fight for survival, they fight for ideals, for beliefs that go beyond mere survival. Concepts like freedom and justice drive them with a fervor that is both baffling and disturbing to a council used to dealing with species that value pragmatism above all else. Humanity's willingness to lay down their lives, often en masse, in pursuit of these principles strikes the council as both fascinating and terrifying. Unlike most species who prioritize survival, humans embrace risk, and at times, even certain death, if it means defending their ideals. The historian takes over, highlighting humanity's long-standing opposition to tyranny. The Council watches clips showing various instances throughout history where humans have risen against oppressive forces, even when those forces seemed insurmountable. Revolutions, uprisings, and resistance movements flash across the screen, and the council members find themselves captivated. Every story of human defiance adds another layer of complexity to their understanding. They start to realize that humanity's refusal to negotiate with them wasn't a rash decision. It was rooted in centuries of ingrained defiance against any form of domination. For humanity, negotiation with a perceived tyrant is an act of betrayal against everything they stand for. As this realization settles in, the Council begins to understand why humanity's response to their threats was so unwavering. But as they continue to study humanity, something even more disturbing comes to light. Reports and rumors begin to circulate about the extent of humanity's technological advancements. Intelligence suggests that humans may have been developing weapons and defensive systems that rival, or possibly even surpass, the Council's own. Some Council members dismiss these rumors as exaggerations, the product of fear or misinformation. But as more evidence emerges, even the skeptics start to grow concerned. It seems that humanity has been quietly preparing for a confrontation, with a level of foresight that suggests they anticipated hostility from beyond their own planet. The Council starts to wonder just how much humanity knows about them, and how prepared they truly are. One report, in particular, captures the Council's attention. It suggests that humans have developed weapons capable of catastrophic damage on a scale the Council hasn't seen before. Details are sparse, but the sheer possibility of humanity possessing such power sends ripples of anxiety through the room. Unlike most species who would have surrendered or sought peace in the face of a stronger force, humans seem to be waiting, armed and ready, as though daring the Council to make a move. It's an unsettling thought, one that contradicts everything the Council thought they knew about lesser species. Desperation starts to seep into the Council's approach. They realize that a direct conflict with humanity could be far more devastating than they initially imagined. In a final attempt to bring humanity under control, the Council drafts a message, this time laced with the harshest threats they can muster. They make it clear that any continued defiance will result in the obliteration of human worlds. They believe this display of authority will finally force humanity into submission, that no species could remain defiant in the face of total destruction. They wait, certain that this message will be the breaking point. The response comes swiftly and is unlike anything the Council has ever received. "If you come for us, you'll regret it." The words are few, but their impact is immense. There is no fear, no hesitation, and no attempt at reconciliation. The message is clear: humanity will not bow, not even to the most powerful forces in the galaxy. For the first time, the Council feels a palpable sense of panic. They've dealt with rebellious factions before, but never with a species that responds to threats with such calm defiance. This is a level of audacity they have never encountered, and it shakes them to their core. Discussions break out among the Council members, and panic begins to take root. Some argue that humanity's refusal is a bluff, that they couldn't possibly withstand the Council's forces. Others, however, are not so sure. The reports of advanced weaponry, combined with humanity's history of resilience, make them question the wisdom of underestimating this species. It becomes evident that humanity is not only unwilling to submit but is also fully prepared to engage in a fight if provoked. And unlike other species, who would be crippled by fear, humans seem almost ready. The chair of the Council calls for calm, but even he cannot mask the uncertainty in his voice. He acknowledges that they may be dealing with an unprecedented situation. Humanity's defiance, coupled with their rumored technology, poses a genuine threat to the Council's authority. It's a reality they are reluctant to accept, but they can no longer ignore it. The Council is now forced to confront a truth they never expected: humanity is not just refusing to submit, they are challenging the very foundation of the Council's power. With no other options, the Council comes to a decision. They will send a fleet, their most powerful armada, to the edge of human-controlled space. It's a show of force, one they hope will finally bring humanity to its senses. The Council is confident that this display will be enough, that no species could look upon such a fleet and maintain their defiance. But there is a lingering doubt, a nagging uncertainty that none of them dare to voice. As the decision is finalized, Some council members exchange uneasy glances, silently wondering if they are about to provoke a confrontation that will change the galaxy forever. At the edge of human-controlled space, the Galactic Council's most powerful fleet assembles, an armada designed to crush any resistance. Alien commanders stand ready, gazing confidently at the stars as they prepare to make an example of humanity. Each ship in the fleet is armed with the Council's most advanced weaponry, built to handle the most formidable adversaries they've ever encountered. The Council believes that their strength and numbers alone will force humanity to surrender. In a final transmission to Earth, they lay down their terms, demanding immediate and unconditional submission. Silence follows, an eerie calm, as they await a response. As the fleet drifts closer to human colonies, alien sensors start picking up strange readings. Ships appear on their monitors in bursts, disappearing as quickly as they're detected. The Council's admirals exchange uneasy glances, unsure of what they're witnessing. Then, almost without warning, human ships begin emerging from various points in space, moving with alarming speed and precision. It becomes clear that these ships are using advanced stealth technology, the likes of which the Council's fleet has never encountered. Alien commanders begin to understand, with growing dread, that the humans have anticipated this encounter. They are not only prepared but have positioned themselves with the perfect tactics to counter the Council's movements. The Council fleet attempts to adjust, sending orders to reinforce weak points in their formation. But each maneuver they make is immediately countered. Human ships flank the Council's armada, each movement executed with surgical precision. Human pilots react almost as though they're one step ahead, flanking the Council's ships from unexpected angles, weaving effortlessly through their defenses. Alarms blare across the Council's command ships as reports of hit-and-run attacks flood in. Human vessels are outfitted with a shocking array of adaptive shields that absorb the Council's attacks and respond in kind with weapons seemingly calibrated to exploit weaknesses in alien defenses. Inside the Council's command center, the admirals are visibly shaken. They realize they are facing a force that is not only well prepared but vastly more advanced than they'd anticipated. Their fleet's most reliable strategies, those that have guaranteed victory in countless battles, are rendered useless. A human commander's voice suddenly breaks through the Council's communications, his tone calm but resolute. "We warned you! Stand down, or face the consequences." The words hang in the air, and for a moment, there is only stunned silence across the Council's ranks. The ultimatum, delivered with such confidence, sends a chill through the Council commanders. They are not accustomed to being issued terms, let alone from a species they had deemed inferior. The Council fleet scrambles to respond, throwing everything they have at the human forces. But it becomes painfully clear that each of their attacks is being systematically neutralized. Human technology, it seems, has been built with the Council's weaponry in mind. Shields adapt in real time to the Council's blasts, while human weapons penetrate alien defenses with surgical accuracy. Each counterattack by the Council is met with an almost effortless deflection or counteroffensive, as if the humans are not merely fighting but displaying a calculated demonstration of superiority. One by one, the Council's ships are disabled, each one taken down with minimal damage inflicted on the human side. The Council commanders begin to realize that humanity's goal is not simply victory, it's domination. And yet, humanity refrains from delivering the final blow. They could destroy the Council's fleet entirely, yet they hold back, carefully dismantling their defenses without inflicting unnecessary casualties. The message is clear: humanity has total control of the battlefield but chooses to exercise restraint. As the Council commanders watch their fleet crumble, panic grips them. Humanity's calm and disciplined response to their aggression is something they have never faced before. The human fleet, having proven its strength, issues one final ultimatum. This time, it is not simply a demand for surrender but a declaration of justice. The human commander's voice returns, colder now, as he states humanity's terms. The Council must renounce its imperial practices, dismantle its oppressive systems, and release every species held under forced allegiance. Failure to comply, he warns, will result in humanity returning in full force, prepared to dismantle the Council itself if necessary. The Council's leaders are left reeling. This is not the demand of a conqueror but a mandate for change. Humanity isn't interested in ruling the galaxy. They demand a fair and just existence for all species. The council members are forced to confront a truth that shakes them to their core. Humanity is motivated not by conquest but by principles they cannot fully comprehend. The council's long-held assumption that power comes from domination has been challenged, and they find themselves on the wrong side of a moral divide. In the council's final moments of desperation, some of the leaders suggest negotiating, hoping to salvage what they can of their authority. But humanity's terms are non-negotiable. They do not seek to share power with oppressors, nor do they offer a compromise to tyrants. The council is given a choice: embrace a new order or face annihilation. Realizing they have no other option, the council's leaders agree to retreat and discuss humanity's demands among themselves, knowing that this decision will likely mark the end of their empire as they know it. As the human fleet watches the council's ships withdraw, the commanders maintain their vigilance. They've achieved what no other species has dared to attempt: defeating the council without conquering, asserting dominance without resorting to cruelty. The message has been sent, and it reverberates through the stars. Humanity will not submit to tyrants, nor will they allow tyranny to go unchecked. The council, once the galaxy's ultimate authority, has been forced into submission not by violence alone but by an unwavering moral stance they can neither defeat nor understand. Shaken by their defeat, the council leaders meet behind closed doors. For the first time in their history, they face an adversary they cannot overpower. Humanity's refusal to bend, their tactical superiority, and their demands for justice have left the council with no options but to submit. In a humbled and desperate plea, they send a message to humanity, seeking a truce. They request time to dismantle their oppressive systems and to withdraw from the territories they have held under their control for so long. There is no attempt to negotiate or bargain, only a straightforward acceptance of humanity's terms, knowing full well that any refusal would lead to immediate destruction. Humanity, in response, grants the truce. But the message from the human commander is firm, laced with a final warning. Any breach of this agreement will be met with swift and irreversible action. The council is reminded that humanity's patience is not infinite. If they truly want peace, they must act accordingly. Humbled, they agree, understanding now that they stand at the mercy of a force that does not seek domination but is also unafraid to wield its strength in defense of justice. The council begins its long, painful task of disassembling its empire. As the news of the council's surrender spreads, the galaxy erupts with whispers of humanity's defiance. Planets and species long oppressed by the council's rule begin to hope for the first time in centuries. Messages of freedom spread like wildfire, igniting a chain reaction. Species that had lived under the council's shadow realize that the galaxy's greatest power has been forced to step down, and they, too, might have a chance at independence. The legend of humanity's stance against the council becomes a story passed from one world to another, a tale of resistance, of a species that would not be swayed by threats or temptations, that fought not for conquest but for the right of all species to exist freely. Uprisings and movements for freedom spark across dozens of planets, with humans now seen as both a liberating force and a symbol of resilience. Planets that had once lived in fear of the council find inspiration in humanity's actions. Individuals who were once resigned to a life under alien overlords now look to the stars with a newfound hope, rallying around humanity's example. It's no longer about humans alone. Humanity's defiance becomes a rallying cry for all who seek freedom. And as the council's grip loosens, the cracks in its power structure widen, hastening its collapse. Back in the Galactic Council's Grand Chamber, the remnants of what was once the galaxy's ultimate authority now stand in silence. The room is eerily empty, echoing with memories of commands and decisions that once dictated the fate of billions. Chairs once filled with powerful figures are abandoned, and the once imposing walls seem diminished, bearing the marks of an empire that overreached and fell. Humanity's intervention has done more than break the Council's fleet. It has unraveled the very foundations of its power. The Council, once feared and respected, has become a relic of an era ending faster than they can stop it. Humanity's influence has become a profound force in the galaxy, but not in the way the Council had expected. They had feared humanity as a rival, a potential threat to their rule. Instead, humanity has become a beacon of hope. Other species, who once viewed humans with suspicion or even disdain, now look to them with admiration, seeing in them a race that doesn't seek domination or control, but rather stands firm in its principles. Humanity's legacy grows beyond their own species. They are now the symbol of resistance, of a galaxy in which freedom is not only possible but worth fighting for. As the news of humanity's victory spreads, countless planets light up with celebrations, a kind of joy that had been foreign to so many civilizations under the Council's rule. Humanity's refusal to submit becomes a legend, a story of courage that is retold across the galaxy. Planets that once stood isolated under the Council's oppressive rule begin to build alliances, trade, and communicate freely, inspired by humanity's actions. The galaxy begins to transform, shifting from an age of fear and domination to one of cooperation and independence. The oppressive structures that once held so many civilizations in check start to crumble, replaced by a growing unity among species who share the common goal of a freer, brighter future. In the final scene, the galaxy itself seems to glow with newfound hope, a sweeping view of distant stars and liberated planets where freedom now flourishes. Humanity's impact is woven into the very fabric of the galaxy, a testament to their unwavering spirit. A voiceover reflects on the legacy humanity leaves behind, not one of conquest or domination but of unbreakable resolve and the courage to stand up to injustice. The galaxy will never forget that moment when humanity, faced with overwhelming power, chose to stand its ground and demand that every species have the right to live free from oppression. As the scene fades, a final message appears, capturing the heart of humanity's legacy. Freedom is the ultimate strength. It's a statement that resonates across the stars, an enduring reminder of the power of unyielding principles. Humanity's story becomes a legend, a source of inspiration that echoes across planets, stars, and species for generations to come.